No sacks also for Joe Milton, staying protected there in the pocket, making plays. Up next for the Dallas Cowboys, the season opening night for the NFL, taking on the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles. The big question, will Micah Parsons play in that game? And for more, welcome in CBS Sports Cowboys insider Garrett Podell, who joins us from AT&T Stadium. We'll get to the Micah Parsons saga in a moment. Let's start with Joe Milton, looking good in the final preseason game. 2 total touchdowns against the Falcons. Garrett, what's your takeaway from Milton this preseason?
Well, Hakeem, it was a roller coaster, but he ended on a high note, right? Joe Milton, he really struggled to get things going early, just struggled to complete passes in the opening quarter in each of the first 2 preseason games. Not the case here. Scored on the first 2 drives of the game. And I think, earlier in the highlight, you see him scrambling 9 yards to pick up a first down. That really settled him down. And when talking to him in the locker room after the game, he said, yeah, getting to use my feet a little bit more and getting out on the move, that helped him kind of settle his early nerves. And then that allowed him to really just hit a lot of guys in between the numbers. There'd been some smoke on social media about him throwing the ball too hard. And when talking to him earlier this week after practice, he said, if you think I throw the football too hard, then you shouldn't be in the NFL. But he was able to get his footwork in rhythm a lot more, which was something both he and head coach Brian Schottenheimer said he needed to do to be more successful this week. Although notably on the touchdown, he said, my footwork was a little off on the play action. Wasn't supposed to really do that before throwing to Jalen Brooks, but he and Brooks have been like this all offseason running with the second team offense, so it didn't really matter.
They have found their backup in Joe Milton. Hopefully that works out for the Cowboys and they don't have to go to him, and Dak Prescott is healthy all season long. The big question here is what's going to happen with Micah Parsons? The saga continues to add layers. With the team on Friday, a fan shouted, "Come to the Falcons." He made a call me gesture. He was a call me. And then he was seen laying on a table during the game. Jerry Jones spoke on Friday about failed negotiations, made it clear he does not want to do business with Parsons' agent. Garrett, you've been with the Cowboys all preseason. You were in the Cowboys locker room on Friday. You spoke with star corner Trayvon Diggs. What did he have to say about all this?
Yeah, Hakeem. So Micah Parsons, we saw him walking into the locker room. He walked out of the locker room with Diggs. And so myself and probably 3 or 4 other reporters slowly walked behind them trying to talk to Micah. Now, Trayvon, he turned around, crossed his arms, and Micah wasn't available. But Trayvon was. And he said, look, I spoke to Micah about his back soreness, and he woke up this morning feeling sore, which maybe that was why he was laying on the training table. But, Diggs said he didn't know if Micah's going to be out there for week 1, and the whole situation is, tough circumstances because he said Parsons is, quote, the heart and soul of the team. But Micah's in good spirits about the whole thing, really, because when we stopped talking to Diggs after a couple minutes and Parsons poked his head around the corner and was like, hey, Trayvon, did you say all good stuff? And we all kind of laughed. So even though, Jerry Jones makes these negotiations look pretty tense, from my personal observation tonight with Trayvon and Micah, they're laughing about the whole deal.
I'm curious, do you think this plays out similar to the way the Dak Prescott deal played out, where they got it done opening day a couple years ago before their game against the Cleveland Browns? Do you see it going down to that, or do you see this lingering into the regular season?
I think, there's been trade smoke. I think one way or the other, whether it's on the day of week 1 like Dak Prescott a year ago in Cleveland, as you mentioned, Hakeem, or sometime later in the season or next offseason, Micah Parsons will re-sign with the Dallas Cowboys. It's hard to say the timing on that because that's really all going to boil down to when Jerry Jones is comfortable doing these deals. Last offseason with Dak, he said, I just got to be comfortable to do this contract. And so whenever Jerry's ready, I do believe Micah will re-sign. I could very well see it being week 1. Brian Schottenheimer said on Wednesday that he believes Micah will be out there in week 1. Talking to defensive tackle Oso Odigizua after the game, he said, oh, shoot, bro. I have no idea. I can't answer any more questions about this, but I would be happy to sit here and answer questions about it all night long. But I do believe eventually a deal will get done.
All right, Garrett Podell with the very latest from Dallas. Garrett, appreciate the insight here on CBS Sports HQ. Be looking for you throughout the regular season.
Thank you for having me, Hakeem.
And with the preseason wrapped up in Dallas, all sights now set on their week 1 matchup, the season opener in the NFL against the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. The big question remains, will we see Micah Parsons running out with the star on his helmet? As you heard Garrett say, Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer said he expects Parsons to be available for the season opener.